Hi everyone, and welcome to our first in a series of history of videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at the history of karting. But before we do, if you like this video, please remember to give it a like at the end, and please consider subscribing to our channel. Now, we know that karting is a place where a lot of racers get their start, but how did karting get its start? Let's take a look.
Karting, or as it's sometimes called, go-karting, has been a part of the motorsports landscape since the 1950s. Karts are now generally lightweight frames made from tube steel with little or no bodywork, a very basic seat, and relatively tiny tires compared to most race car types. Over the years, the engines have progressed from being unwanted lawnmower engines to purpose-built 2- or 4-stroke gasoline engines, mounted either behind or next to the driver. Some electrically powered karts exist as well. Karting is competed on paved road courses, dirt ovals, and even in parking lots. There are different types of karts, including shifter karts, superkarts, oval karts, and various types of dirt track karts. Most karts have no roll cage, but some dirt karts are caged for added driver safety. Types of events include sprint races on small road courses, timed endurance races, or speedway events held on larger ovals. Karting has been the first stop in many racing careers, with the likes of Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, Michael Andretti and Ayrton Senna, and Lewis Hamilton all beginning their illustrious careers in karts. The history of karting dates back to the year 1956 and a man named Art Ingalls. Ingalls, often considered the father of karting, was a hot rodder and race car builder working for Curtis Craft in Southern California when he built his first kart. Teaming with his neighbor, Lou Borelli, they powered their kart with a 2.5 horsepower McCulloch West Bend lawnmower engine. Ingalls and Borelli drove their kart around Pomona, California, where a race would later be organized. Among the spectators that witnessed that early kart race was a man named Duffy Livingston. Livingston and his friend, Roy Desbrow, partnered with other early karting enthusiasts to begin organizing races at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. They also began selling kart kits in 1957, forming a new kart manufacturing company called Go-Kart. Based in Monrovia, California, the Go-Kart Manufacturing Company would be the first of many kart manufacturers. The term go-kart was actually coined by Lynn Wineland, who was a former editor of Hot Rod magazine. In return for the use of the name, Wineland received $2 for every kart sold, enough money in that day to help Wineland buy a new house. The first production kart, the Go-Kart 400, sold for $129.50, about $1,100 in today's money. Art Ingalls and Lou Borelli would also enter the kart business when Ingalls left his job at Curtis Craft to start the Ingalls and Borelli Kart Company in 1958. Karting now had a supply of karts to choose from, races being held, and plenty of new fans and drivers looking to get in on the action. But what it still lacked was an organization to regulate the new sport. In 1957, a group of enthusiasts led by Don Bobrick and Marvin Patchen set up the Go-Kart Club of America, or GKCA. Bobrick would state in an interview for the February 1961 issue of The Karter, quote, "We saw karting as a new avenue for organized motor racing at an inexpensive level. I also knew how to put a formal organization together and how to write technical regulations that could govern the kind of vehicles that would comprise the competition. So 12 of us agreed to form an organization patterned after the Sports Car Club of America, which I then incorporated as a California nonprofit corporation under the name Go-Kart Club of America." Many of the GKCA regulations are still in use today. Initially, 3 classes were created: 84cc, 168cc, and 270cc. The first race is held at the Eastland Shopping Center in West Covina, California, in December of 1957. Other forms and organizations would soon begin popping up all over the world in response to the growth of this new form of racing. In addition to the GKCA, the American Kart Manufacturers Association was also created to govern the quality of karts being made in the United States. The Grand Prix Kart Club of America was founded with plans to promote the sport internationally, organizing the first World Championship in Nassau, Bahamas in December of 1958. In the years that followed, karting would gain popularity in Italy, Great Britain, France, and other European countries. By 1960, events were being held all over Europe, and in 1962, the first events were held in the USSR. In 1958, the first permanent karting circuit was opened in Azusa, California, where the go-kart manufacturing company had set up its new production line. A couple of years later, go-kart would form one of the first factory race teams, traveling as far east as Rockford, Illinois, to compete in the North American Kart Association National Championships. Despite the early popularity and rapid growth of karting in the United States, as the 1960s progressed, the popularity began to wane. Many new tracks were popping up, but without widespread regulation, and with quickly evolving technology, the cost of participating in the sport began to climb, and this drove many enthusiasts away. In Europe, however, the sport continued to grow throughout the 1960s and 70s. It was during this time that the now familiar modern kart layout, with the engine to the driver's side rather than behind the seat, began to become the standard. The FIA, or International Automobile Federation, formed the International Karting Commission, or CIK. The CIK was first chaired by Jean-Marie Balestre of France. He will later go on to become the president of the FIA from 1986 to 1993. The CIK creates two categories, sport and racing, with the racing category allowing additional tuning of the karts. A European Nations Cup event is held in Paris in November of 1962. In 1966, a change is made to the format of the World Championships. The title will now be contested over 3 events. That season, all 3 events are won by Susie Raganelli from Italy in the 100cc class. Raganelli is still the only woman to win the World Championship title. The format of the championship would continue to evolve throughout the years that followed. In 1976, with the intent of slowing the growing cost of karting, the CIK launches Formula Europe. The organization will focus on periodic homologation of chassis designs in an attempt to slow the pace of technical evolution that is causing problems in America. By the late 1970s, the CIK, now under Ernest C. Buser, will finally gain a world standing for karting. Championship races are held all over the world. Eventual NASCAR star Lake Speed becomes the first non-European world champion in 1978 and an event in Le Mans, France, the same event that would later introduce the world to a young driver named Ayrton Senna. In the 1980s, additional sanctioning bodies such as the World Karting Association begin to emerge. The GKCA becomes the International Karting Federation. Both the World Karting Association and the International Karting Federation are launched in Mississippi in the United States. By the time the 20th century would come to an end, karting had established itself as the starting place for many road racers looking to take the first step towards a career in a top racing series, such as Formula One. Media coverage expanded to begin televising races in Europe on the Eurosport network. In 2012, the CIK-FIA, the current governing body of international karting, now run by Sheikh Abdullah bin Isa Al Khalifa, celebrated its 50th anniversary.
Karting continues to be massively popular in the United States and around the world. Indoor karting, family karting, and even SECA autocross karting have made karting more accessible than ever. If you're interested in giving karting a try, contact us at C-Squared Racing and we'll help you get started. I'll leave my contact information in the description below. And until the next video, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you on the next lap.